Welcome to the ExpandHer Podcast with myself, Sarah-Louise Sutton. I am an intuitive energy healer, channel, Reiki teacher, coach, and mentor, and founder of the Inspirit School of Energy, here to help you on your spiritual journey, to up-level your vibration, to activate your soul and purpose, and ultimately elevate your life and business. It is my intention that through myself and special guests, talking about all things intuition, guidance, channeling, manifesting, healing, and energetics, that you get expanded, you feel inspired, and you receive a giant hug for your soul. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and it is from my heart to yours that I am sending you so much love. Hello. Welcome back to the ExpandHer Podcast. I hope that you're doing wonderful. And this is officially the first and last podcast episode I'm recording from my place in Portugal, where I have been for a month already. So apologies I haven't done an episode until now, other than the reading, obviously. But yeah, I doubt I'll be doing another one because I leave in 10 days. So all the feels there, but I have been loving Portugal so much, to the extent that Oliver and I are like looking into visas to actually move here. It has been amazing, like exceeding my expectations. And I already had very high expectations purely because I have been intuitively called here for the last 2 years. And just kind of timings in the year, kind of not wanting to be here during peak season, and kind of when I've been going to Bali and just things like that. It just hasn't really aligned. But I've been wanting to come here for quite some time. So I've known it was going to be great. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been intuitively led here. But definitely exceeded my expectations. So maybe Portugal will be my new home. Let's see. So yeah, very excited for 2025 already. Although I say that I am planning on going to Bali before coming back, but that's another story. So what I wanted to speak about in this episode was actually about working with your vibration and your frequency and your energy field in relation to massively expanding, and in terms of really getting into that next level in your life, in your business, in your career, in your relationship, like whatever it is that you are currently working on, and kind of using your vibration and your frequency to do that. And the reason I'm sharing this now is purely because a couple of weeks ago, I finished doing 30 days of self-healings, and it has been so good for me, this 30 days. I mean, I do this regularly. I probably do this like every 6 months or so in a really strict 30-day period. But I also go through a lot of periods where I'm doing it, pretty much every day or every other day at least, depending on how I'm feeling. So I do self-healings regularly, but there's something that happens when you really devote yourself and kind of go all in on a really strict 30-day period. I feel like the intention behind it just also creates massive kind of waves in your energy. And so I've been doing that. And normally, whenever I do this, something big shifts. So I've done this before, and it's been like a huge up level in my business or in my success or in my abundance. I've done this and I've had enormous like breakthroughs in my intuition and like, let's say, my clairvoyant gift or something like that. Like, it's always been a huge up level, like a huge shift. I've also had it where it's been a different experience. It's been a very deep experience in terms of clearing a lot of stuff. So I've also had that. But always, it does something pretty wild. And this one was a very internal shift, which, as we know, is always like where, external things happen from anyway. But it felt like a very internal shift in that during this 30 days, I got more and more clear every day on my higher self. And probably not my highest self, because, that is just pure light, but a higher version of me, a much, much, much higher version of me. And in this 30 days, it was like every day, it just kind of felt like I was getting more kind of clarity mentally speaking, like I was becoming more aware of the things that I do now, or the things that I am now that aren't quite this next level of me. It was like a mental awareness. But also every single day, it was like I was really getting the activation and the energy and the embodiment of that next level of me too. So it was happening at like this energy level and also on a mental level of like me being aware of things that maybe I wasn't aware of before, like certain things that I was doing that maybe weren't as aligned with who I'm stepping into, right? Certain beliefs, things like that. And so there was a lot of awareness that was coming in, but also a very physical embodiment of a new energy coming in. And since I did this, and this finished a couple of weeks ago, like I've already felt such shifts and seen such shifts in my business. Because like I said, when we change something internally, something externally happens. Something external happens even. And so I just really wanted to talk about in this episode how much our energy and our vibration and our frequency is dictating like the version of us that we are being. And I know I talk about this a lot, like this is not new information, but I really wanted to just to devote this episode to this, because it just feels so key in personal development and spiritual development and intuitive development and all the things. It just feels so key in it that it's like, if you're not prioritizing this or thinking about this or being aware of this, like basically you're really missing out, really missing a trick. Because, a lot of this personal development work and spiritual work, a lot of it is going into wounds, a lot of it is going through beliefs, and a lot of it is on a mind level, right? And although there might be some aspect of energy and energy work and manifesting and being aligned with things, like I don't see enough of how important our actual energy field is in really stepping into a new version of ourselves. Because the thing is, and this could sound triggering, or it might not feel good for some people, but the truth is, a lot of the thoughts that we're having, a lot of the stories that are playing, or the perceptions that we have on ourselves, on the world, on people around us, a lot of this isn't deep rooted. Some of the beliefs that you have, they're not all deep rooted and going back to childhood. Like, they're not all that deep. A lot of stories in our mind, a lot of thoughts, a lot of beliefs, a lot of perspectives that we have are just kind of habits and patterns that have been created based on the vibration you are at. And as an example of this, I could do just a virtual energy healing with someone. There's no words, there are no perspective shifts. I am not sharing anything audibly with someone. And yet before that healing, they could be feeling really low about themselves. They could be feeling like they are stuck. They could be not really seeing any opportunities around them. They could be feeling really low, feeling, low about themselves and who they are in this world, and feeling that kind of energy. And then after a healing, and again, I've not said anything, they will have a completely different viewpoint on themselves. They'll be feeling good about themselves again. They'll be feeling bright about their future. They'll be feeling unstuck. They'll be feeling so much lighter in who they are. And it's almost like this big cloud has been lifted, and it's like they can see clearly again. Now, generally in my healings, I then also do channel guides. And so that also brings in other perspectives from a much higher perspective. And I bring through other guidance, but this happens even if I don't do that, because it's changing someone's frequency. It's changing someone's energy. And so whilst it might be hard to kind of get your head around that, it's like I have seen it too many times for there to be any shred of doubt in me that changing your frequency and changing your vibration can change those thoughts and stories and patterns that are playing. You know, our body is like a series of patterns, right? And kind of sequences, so to speak, and memories. And so when our body is in a certain state, we have the thoughts and the ideas and the perspectives that kind of match that state. But if we change the state of our body, we will then have different thoughts and perspectives and view on things, right? And so this is why, like, you don't necessarily have to go into everything in order to feel better about yourself, in order to see yourself differently. Like, this is also why, you could be in a really bad mood one morning and be kind of like saying all these horrible things about yourself in your head or your life in your head. Then one thing happens that could be a good thing, and everything feels completely different. You're like, oh my God, wait, I love myself again. Like, like we really do attach so much meaning to the thoughts and the stories that we have and our perspectives on things and on life. And a lot of the time even, it's just not that deep. A lot of the time, if you just change your energy field, if you shift your energy, your vibration, your frequency, you will be thinking differently. And just kind of understanding that there are all of these different vibrational versions of you, right? And some are higher, some are lower. And when you step into and embody that vibration, not only everything I've just said, like not only will you have different thoughts, different ideas, different perspectives, different beliefs going on, but also, remember your energy field is always projecting out what you are ready for. Your energy field is always this signal that is attracting opportunities and people and situations into your life. Like, that is what we know as manifesting, right? Is being intentional with what you are vibrating at in order to attract better things, basically. And so not only does this next level vibrational version of you have different thoughts and beliefs, but also a different reality, because you are putting out a different signal. Like, you are putting out into the world that you're ready for even more, for even bigger, for different things. Like, you are putting out a different signal, and therefore what you get back is also different. Like, we are all just kind of radios. We are always vibrating at a vibration, and therefore we are always connecting in and attuning to the same vibration, right? And that is just our life. And although of course the nervous system has a part to play for some people, right? And that's why in my certifications, this is a bonus module, because it is important. There is a part that the nervous system has to play. And so, yes, that there are sometimes cases where that is a thing, but also we are just vibrational beings. And like, there are other vibrational versions of you that you can step into. And this does happen with working on your vibration and your frequency over time. And so although one session or one meditation can hugely shift you out of where you are at 100%, like, there is no doubt about that. As I said, like, I see it all the time and time again. But if you want really long-term transformation, you have to be prioritizing your frequency and your energy and your energy field, because that's how you anchor in, right, a new baseline. That is how you become a new frequency. Because sometimes, we can step into new frequencies, and we're doing this all throughout the days. We're changing the vibration of our energy field all the time, but it's not our baseline, right? And so to really set a new baseline, to really step into a new reality, you really need to be working on this consistently. And it's with this that you really do upgrade yourself. I wrote an email about this the other day, and it was like the analogy of an iPhone software upgrade, but without any bugs. Like, it really is upgrading yourself, your thoughts, your perspectives, your intuitive connection, like this massively gets amplified when you step into a new vibration and you increase your vibration. The levels of confidence that you have, the clarity that you have, like, if you're feeling like you don't have clarity, if you just stepped into a different frequency, it's amazing how much more clarity comes there. Because the version of you that you might be at now, might not be ready for the clarity that you actually are asking for. That clarity might be that next level up. Right now, you might not be ready for that clarity. So clarity to you is like abundance is hugely, hugely upgraded when you change your frequency. The success that you attract, and effortlessly, right? Like, this is the thing with manifesting, is it's not hard work that brings you more, it's your vibration that brings you more. So the more abundance and the more success doesn't mean more hard work. It's like you're effortlessly attracting that in, because what you are putting out, the signal that you are putting out, is so much more of a match to it. Like, everything gets upgraded when you step into a higher vibration and a higher version of you. And what I really love about this as well is how kind of easy and light this work feels. And one of my clients was saying this to me the other day, actually, and it really did make me kind of want to share this, that she was saying that she's tried so many, ways of self-improvement, right? And personal development and spiritual development. And she's tried so many different modalities and worked with so many different people. And like, we have come together beautifully. And she was saying like how much lighter this feels and how much easier it feels. Like, it almost feels a bit too easy. It's like, really? But equally, she has had an absolute 180, and she can't believe how much better everything already is after, not that long of working together. And yet it feels so light and easy. And I hear this all the time, like with, a longer term clients, is just when you start to see everything through a vibrational lens, through an energy lens, the work, it becomes different. It is so much lighter. And instead of kind of getting caught up when you feel stagnant and stuck and confused and low, and how you see yourself doesn't feel good, and you're in one of those places, instead of getting really caught up in that and believing the thoughts and the stories that are going on in your mind, when you then just think, well, okay, well, I'm just at a different vibrational version of myself right now, and I just need to get into a different one. And you do something to shift your energy, whether it's a self-healing, a certain meditation, whether it is a clearing or a cleansing, or you just do something that brings in a high frequency energy, and you do that, and you then step into a different vibration, and everything clears. Everything feels light again, and it's like clarity is there again, and then you suddenly feel good about yourself again and your life again and other people again, and you stop having the same kind of fears and stories and beliefs playing out. Like, it's kind of, you become a different version of yourself again. And like I said, long-term transformation comes from doing this regularly. Like, that's how you change that baseline, which is the goal ultimately, of course. But it's just really understanding and seeing things through a vibrational lens of, it really does get to be as simple as stepping into a different vibrational version of yourself, because that vibrational version of yourself will have a different reality and will feel different. And it gets to be that simple. Like, it doesn't have to be made more complicated than that. And so, what I'm saying is there's a whole new version of yourself available, and it's just a vibrational shift away. That's it. And it gets to feel that easy. And, in this podcast, there have been so many episodes where I have kind of spoken a lot about energy. Probably the majority of episodes where I've spoken about energy and your vibration, and kind of ways to shift it. Obviously it is throughout this entire podcast, but just to give you an idea of like what I would say would be the main things to think about and focus on to really create that kind of long-term transformation in your vibration. A big one is just daily energetic hygiene, meaning like clearing your energy, cleansing your energy, protecting your energy, really kind of looking at what increases your vibration and what lowers it, and ultimately doing less of the things that lower it and doing more of the things that increase it. Kind of is that simple. And a good place to start with that is like environments, like the environment that you are in, keeping that at a really good frequency. And there's an entire episode, it's only a few back, I think, actually, where I talk about your environment and your energy. And that would be a great episode to listen to because, your environment hugely impacts your energy. So your environment, the people that you spend time with, and I don't necessarily mean here, don't spend time with low vibrational people. Like, I think that that's not necessarily the right way to look at it. But, you can protect yourself and you can cleanse yourself after, but also just, like for me, when I spend time around a lot of people, it doesn't matter what people, just spending a time around a lot of people massively, not necessarily lowers my vibration, but it definitely doesn't support me in any way. And so even sitting in a busy cafe, I feel drained within 30 minutes. And so obviously there's practice I can do to protect myself or cleanse myself, but also I could just, avoid doing that as much. So people also hugely impact us. That's another thing to think about. But the words that you say to yourself, this is huge, like, and just never given enough airtime either. But, saying nice words to yourself versus being harsh on yourself and horrible to yourself, the words that we are saying to ourselves hugely impacts our energy, hugely. Like, compassion and love and gratitude are of the highest frequency. And so saying words that come from this place versus words that come from judgment and from frustration or hate, like, it's going to hugely impact our energy. So words is a huge thing to think about and be aware of, because it massively impacts our energy without you really realizing. Your body is also a huge key factor in your vibration, meaning, physically speaking, if your body is physically low energy, it's going to impact your vibration. If you are eating foods that, again, aren't of a high frequency, like something made in a factory and that has been overly processed, although it's fine in moderation, but if you're eating, food that is of a very low vibration daily, then that will be having an impact on you. Also just doing things that help your body move through stagnant energy. So making sure you're moving. Our physical body holds a lot of impact on our vibration. And there is a podcast episode about that as well, where I speak about the nervous system as well, because that all kind of comes into it. So I'll put a link for that episode as well. But it's kind of like your body is the house of your vibration. So if your body is struggling, then it will impact your vibration. And I do want to say here as well, though, like obviously your vibration does impact your body. It's kind of like they're working together, but still it's something to think about as a separate kind of thing, is your physical body. It is important and it plays an important role. And then a huge part to always be thinking about as well is it's not always about just clearing lower vibrational things and protecting yourself and all of that. Like, you have to be infusing yourself with a high frequency in order to increase your frequency, right? It's like you can clear and protect all you want and remove everything from your life that's lowering you. But if you're not bringing a high frequency in some form, then you're not going to necessarily be increasing your vibration. And so it kind of goes without saying, but one of my favorite ways to do this is energy healings, because that is literally what you are doing, is you are channeling and like if you were doing this on yourself, I mean, you are channeling a higher frequency, a much higher frequency, whether that's Reiki, which is a very high frequency, or your own healing energy, which is even higher. Then you are channeling that through into you. Like, you are bringing in a much, much, much higher vibration into your energy body. And doing this over time is how you make big transformation. I mean, even just one session, right, instantly shifts your energy. As I've said before, and said many, many, many times, like, it's amazing what happens just with one session of either self-healing or getting it from someone else. Like, amazing things can happen because you're just changing the state of your vibration. But doing that long term and over time is the most potent way to change the vibrational version of yourself and to really step into a whole new vibrational state. But also, this isn't the only way. I also want to say that this is the most powerful way, I believe, but it's not the only way. So also, when you channel spirit guides, you are channeling, again, a much higher frequency. And so if you kind of made that a practice every day, you're also bringing in a much higher vibration into you every day. Like, whenever I channel my guides or my clients' guides, there is no denying the shift in energy that comes through to me, like whether it was my guides or not. Like, this is an incredibly powerful practice to also get into and to maybe start working on if it's not something that you already do. But also, this can sound so simple, and it is so simple, but like, hear me out. Just adding things into your life that bring you joy. Like, doing things that feel good. Like, how much are you prioritizing this, really? Like, when you feel good, you are vibrating higher. And so if every day you were prioritizing feeling good, over time, you're going to be vibrating an awful lot higher. Like, prioritizing the things that just feel really good. That could be doing certain hobbies or activities that just feel good. But also it could be like learning certain subjects that feel great. Like, doing things that just really, I feel like everyone experiences this with some things. It's different what sparks it for everyone. But when you're learning a certain subject and it just taps you right into your soul and you're like, yes, and it feels so good that you almost cry with just happiness of like how great you feel in that moment. For me, that's always energy, and that's always anything to do with spirit. Like, that's always been the case for me. It just absolutely sparks that feeling, and everyone has that feeling with something. And so it might be the same thing for you. It might be a completely different subject, but like, really call in the things that make you feel that way, because like, we just don't prioritize things that make us feel good enough. Like, if in the mornings you're kind of doing your morning practices or rituals, but you don't leave that period of time feeling really good, then this is a huge invitation for you to change it up and, just, read a really great book in the morning if that makes you feel good, or just dance to some great music in the morning instead if that makes you feel good. But like, spending your time in the morning prioritizing something that makes you feel great is going to be more beneficial than some of the things we're told we should be doing in the morning. Like, your vibration is everything. And so doing things that increase it, especially in the morning, will change your whole day. And then over time, this compounds, and it does absolutely change, as I was saying, kind of like that foundational state that you're at, like your baseline state. And this is the goal. And so prioritizing joy and feeling good and just things that make you feel like in that soul kind of energy, right? So it might be having certain conversations, reading certain books, studying certain things, learning new things, like whatever makes you feel that way, prioritize it. Because it's actually going to make more of an impact on maybe some of the things that you're prioritizing instead. And so like, that's just some places to start, but obviously my entire podcast, my Instagram and my other resources are really aimed all towards this, so stick around and have a binge of all my old episodes, because like, this is what I always talk about, is things that really help improve your vibration and your energy in some capacity. And of course, like, I have my meditations and my energy healing journeys, which my energy healing journeys are a mixture of like visualization meditation, but also energy healing, like distance energy healing. And so, if you're not sure what else to do or where to start, like maybe just devote 30 days to doing one of those every day. Like they're free. There's different ones. I'm adding more, roughly one a month, but each one has a slightly different intention and a slightly different energy moving through it. And so that could be a great thing to start with as well. So I have lots of things available, is what I'm saying, to support you in this, but I just wanted to really share more on this and kind of devote this episode to this, because it just feels so key. And I know I talk about it all the time, but it's just very, very present for me right now, and to really speak about right now. So yeah, hopefully this has given you some inspiration on some things to think about and to focus on, and just to also remember the power of your energy and your vibration, and that we really are just kind of vibrational beings. And the more we own that and do things that support increasing our vibration, our energy field, and the signal that we're putting out, like we are going to really, really transform our lives, like deeply, because that is how it works. So hopefully this has given you some inspiration for that. And of course, if you want to really go into this and really prioritize this and really transform things, then my certifications, my energy healing certifications, are the best place to start, other than my kind of mentorship, where you also get access to the certifications. So if you want to learn how to actually change your frequency and your vibration, and have the option to do that for other people as well, then like this is hands down the best place to start. And so I have Reiki 1 certification available, Reiki 2 available, and then also the Intuitive Energy Healer certification available, all of which are fully accredited. They are also fully online, like the learning is online, but they have a one-on-one attunement with me, which is at the same time as a full energy healing and the channel from your spirit guides. Like, it's a very, very potent and powerful attunement that is fully personalized and one-on-one for you, and also one-on-one support. And so like you have the online learning to do it in your own time, but you have the one-on-one support for you there as well. And so Reiki 1 is you learn how to do self-healings on yourself, and you also learn how to do healings on friends and family. So that is not practitioner level, it's purely for your own transformation. And then Reiki 2 is to advance those skills basically for yourself, but you also learn how to do distance healings, so you can kind of work on anyone's energy wherever you are in the world. And you also learn the Reiki symbols. And this is where you also become a certified Reiki practitioner. So you could do this professionally if you wanted to. And then the Intuitive Energy Healer is the one that comes after that. So you have to be Reiki 2 certified to do that, whether through me or someone else. But this is where you learn to work with your own healing energy, which is a much, much, much higher frequency. So this is where things just go to a whole new level. If you're already a practitioner, like your sessions will go to a whole new level, because you're bringing through a much higher frequency that works, a lot more. It's a lot more potent. It's a lot faster. But equally, also you learn all of the intuitive work that I do as well. So you'll learn how to channel guides, bring through messages and guidance, and how to work with all of your different clair channels. Like it's a full-on intuitive development course, as well as working with a much higher frequency. So it's kind of like taking your own healings and your professional healings, if you do this for work, to a whole new level. And so I am obsessed with that course. And honestly, it's like my absolute soul creation, that one. So they're the 3 levels. And I come bearing gifts in this episode because it is the season of promotions. It is Black Friday season. And I am joining in this year. I can't remember if I did it last year, but I'm joining in this year. So I do have a huge promotion on the certification courses. I am also going to be doing it on my single sessions, my one-on-one sessions. But TBC on that one, because I don't know how long I'll be opening that for. And so keep an eye out on my emails and on my Instagram for that one. I've not confirmed details on that yet. But with the certification courses, I am going to put the discount codes in the show notes now, as a little exclusive for my podcast listeners to get kind of early access to that. So I'm going to put the discount codes in the show notes. There is a code for just a single certification course, and then there is a different code if you want to get a bundle of more than one together, which actually ends up saving way more because the bundles are already discounted. So yes, there will be all the info for those in the show notes. But of course, if you have any questions on certifications, like what one would be right for you, or if it's even right for you, please honestly just get in touch. Like, I am really here to help you make the right decision for you. And so the information on doing that will be in the show notes as well. But email or my Instagram is the best place to get in touch. So yeah, exciting times over here. And yeah, if you are interested in getting a kind of one-on-one session or a single session, then keep an eye out on my Instagram and on my email for the details of those when I make it live. So yeah, I would love to hear how this episode was for you and your kind of biggest takeaways. And of course, if you have any questions, also get in touch. But thank you so much for being here. And I would always be enormously grateful if you can share this with someone that you think would really appreciate it and really get a lot from it. And also any reviews that you are able to leave on Apple or on Spotify are also hugely appreciated. Yeah, it really supports me and the podcast. So thank you so much in advance if you're able to do any of those. And I hope you have the most beautiful rest of your day, and sending you enormous amounts of love. And yeah, hope to have you back here very, very soon. Sending you lots of love.